Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Andrewsfield Aerodrome, which is the latest release from Burning Blue Design. And thank you very much to Burning Blue Design for giving me the opportunity to try this out. I think, as you know, certainly if you've seen any of the other videos on this channel, I do love a nice little grass strip like this. Nice little GA airfield, lots of detail. It doesn't get much better than this. I'd certainly rather fly from here than a big concrete asphalt airport. So yeah, Burning Blue have put a lot into this. Basically, Andrewsfield is an ex United States Army Air Force field that was founded in 1942, and actually was mainly a base for B-26 Marauders. And we'll see a little bit of that in the actual aerodrome building as well, in some of the artwork that's reflected there. But both the United States Army Air Force and the RAF flew different squadrons from here. It's got a lot of character to it, and I think that's what I like about what Burning Blue Design do. There's a lot of detail. It's the kind of place that if you want to base your GA flying from here, or if you want to fly into here, there's a lot to there, and it's also very atmospheric. They put a lot of objects into here. There's something like 70 custom 3D objects that they put into this airfield. Lots of handcrafted assets have been placed around the site, and it's got all sorts of different things. Like it's got the working custom windsock, it's got a Dassault Mystère 4, and it's got this wonderful tower that you can actually go inside and have a look outside. There's also full night lighting, and it will also have the correct AI pattern procedures for if you have the AI turned on, which I don't. Then they will follow the correct procedure. And also, they've not just done the airfield, they've also looked at the surroundings. So you've kind of got this airfield scenery, but in the immediate surroundings, you've also got bits and pieces that they've added in as well, just to help create that atmosphere. And I think that is, I keep saying it, but I think it's what's so important about places like this. Why do we want detailed airfields like this? We're flying aircraft, we're up in the air. Why do we bother about it so much? I think everyone can agree, or most people can agree, that where we take off from or where we land is great if you can have something really realistic, and especially if you actually fly from here in the real world. So we're going to be going up in the helicopter. I am a rookie at the helicopter. I think if you've seen the previous flight, you know what I'm talking about. But we're going to take this wonderful Hype Performance H145 from Andrewsfield here over to Duxford. There's a reason why we're repositioning to Duxford. But it's a nice little flight. Very short. I didn't want to make this video too long. We're not going to do the full startup procedure. We're just going to get in the air, get ourselves over to Duxford, and then hopefully we'll have time for a beer later on. So hop on board, and I hope you enjoy the flight. Okay, welcome to the cockpit. The tower, or probably the airfield management, did ask that we move the helicopter a little bit further away from the buildings, in the interest of safety. Someone obviously tipped them off that I am a rookie, and yeah, it's probably a sensible thing to do. So I'm going to start this flight by saying I am a rookie. I don't know a huge amount yet about this helicopter. I've flown it a few times. I made the previous video about it. It's something that I do intend to spend some more time in, and especially trying to do it by the book, which is the beauty of this. You can do it by the book. It's so many of these systems are actually simulated. But this is just meant to be a quick flight. So I'm going to do what I normally don't like doing, which is to use the cheat button, start it all up very quickly, because I'd like you to hear the sound of it at least spooling up. And then we can get cracking on our flight. If you want to see this in more detail, there will be future videos on the channel where we've got a bit more time, where we actually will go through the whole procedure, because I would like to learn to fly this properly. It would be quite good. Anyway, so I'm just going to quickly, don't worry, just quickly check that everything is, yeah, we've got everything. My last video, I suddenly found at last minute, when I didn't want to, that one of my levers wasn't mapped up correctly, so I had a few issues with that. So this has got the latest update on it, so a couple of things have changed from the last video, but I seem to remember the old cheat switch is down here, and this is where I found out it isn't. No, that's just ground power. That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Can't even find the cheat switch. Where did the cheat switch go? It used to be over here. Okay, this is probably the bit where I pause the video and figure it out and then come back so that you don't have to watch me bumbling around. Okay, I think I've just remembered something. I'm going to give it a try. We've got our lovely little iPad here. I don't think maybe something else needs to happen for the charts bit to work, but let's go to setup. And now if I, just checking everything here, just checking that there's nothing on, we've got the advanced flight mode on because, hey, we're advanced. Right, let's see if this is the cheat switch. Hello. Check everything is looking good. Hopefully it will bring us into a ready state. Spooling up. Now I've got to remember some of my switches on my honeycomb. There we go, that's the pitot heat on, and we need to make sure that all our, okay, that's another switch on my honeycomb. This is where we play the which switch does what thing. I really do need to get this sorted out. That's the avionics on. Okay, nothing is turning that switch on. I need to update my GTN 750. There we go, now it's gone off. Right, so now we should be all ready to go in a good state. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to quickly, I can't guarantee that this is going to work because I haven't got the update in here, but let's see what happens. So this is E, G, S, L. I'll put a link below for this, by the way. It's if you've got this helicopter, you'll know about it because they tell you all about it, but it's quite a handy little thing. I used the Flight 1 GTN 650 and 750 in P3D, and see if that works. Yeah, it's interesting. We've got duplicates. Again, that's probably due to not having an update. Yeah, I use it in P3D, and it's quite a useful little tool. So we've got everything where we should be. Everything is tickety-boo. I'm going to close that now. Okay, so we have got some charts, or maybe that's something that's coming into it. This is the kind of early release version, by the way, so they're still working on it, and I'm still working it out. There we go, how to use it. Okay, so let's have a quick look outside. Bear with me. I know you're probably thinking, what's going on with the grass? It's not burning blue. I think This is probably something to do with Microsoft Flight Simulator that at some point might get fixed, but the grass these days seems to be awfully long. I think actually what's coming this way is I think they're going to do a link up with that lawnmower simulator, which I must admit the first time I heard about it I thought it was a hoax, but it is a real thing. And maybe that's the idea, you know, multiplayer, you can mow the lawn while someone else flies. But look, I'm just waffling, and what I'm doing is putting off the inevitable of actually taking off. So let's put in some left rudder, because I seem to remember that's what we need, and I need to focus. So I'll try and show you a bit of the airfield without crashing. Let's not crash into the van. Excuse me, van driver. So you can see it's got a nice character to it, and I do love that about their airfields. White Waltham, for example, which I sort of know, has a really good atmosphere around it, and I've never been here, but I bet it's not too far off what this looks like. If anyone has actually been to this airfield in real life, especially if you fly from here, then no, please feel free to comment below what you think. But I think it's cracking, and we haven't crashed the helicopter yet, so that's not a bad thing. I see the couple down there. And that girl does get around a bit. I'm sure I've seen her at Popham. Yeah, they're still absolutely transfixed by my helicopter flying skills. So let's have a scoot down here, and then we'll come back over the airfield, and then we'll head off to Duxford. I have to say, I do love this helicopter. If you watched the last video, you'll know that I've always really liked helicopters. When I was young and considering joining the Air Force, and I used to go and see the RAF liaison officer every now and again, he once asked me what I wanted to fly. And this was back in the days of Tornadoes, Jaguars, Buccaneers, that sort of thing. And I was going through a bit of a seeking phase, and I said, oh, I'd like to fly search and rescue helicopters. And he said to me, do you not realise this is a fast jet air force? And he wasn't too impressed with me, but I loved the idea of flying helicopters, doing search and rescue, and the kind of piloting skill that's involved in this. I still have so much respect for helicopter pilots, because it is not easy in the slightest, and these modern helicopters have stability aids and that sort of thing, but it's definitely a skill. It really is, and I have the utmost respect for them. Anyway, we'll say goodbye to Andrewsfield Aerodrome. Thanks again to Burning Blue. Cracking job there, guys. What I like about it as well, actually, is it's near to Duxford, and I will have a use for that, a very nice use for that. In P3D, I used to fly warbirds from Duxford over to Old Ward and do a couple of touch and goes, and then come back again, and that's the kind of thing we'll be able to do with Andrewsfield as well, because it's close enough that we can actually do that. Let's have a quick check that nothing's broken. Everything seems to be working just fine. This simulator is absolutely fantastic for helicopter flying. I never bothered with helicopter flying in P3D or anything like that, simply because it wasn't smooth enough and the scenery just wasn't interesting enough for me. But you know, this simulator, with the realism and the atmosphere that's created in it, it's just, well, it's stunning, absolutely stunning. speed now. I love the interior sound of this. This is the in this initial kind of early release, this is the luxury variant, and it actually has that feel about it, doesn't it? It has a nice plush, almost like you've just got into a nice car. And this world is just absolutely beautiful to explore in it. It really is. I think it's so smooth and so detailed that for helicopters it is perfect. But as I say, helicopters isn't my forte. Let's watch out for the pylons and power lines. Helicopters isn't my forte. I am more about warbirds, which you can probably tell by the logo, and if you've watched my videos before. But I just couldn't resist taking choppers up in this, purely because of just how beautiful everything is. One of the other big advantages of this sim for helicopter flying, of course, is because of the detail that we see in the landscape. There are plenty of places that you can go and practice your landings and go and explore. And I'm not going to do it now because, as I say, I'm trying to save a bit of time, and also, let's face it, it's not going to happen. But for example, that down there, that little circle, that's a fantastic place to practice doing some helicopter landing where you've got obstacles around it, and then you can pretend that that's your house and all that sort of thing. But that's just a good example of what you can do in this sim. I do think it's very exciting. I really do. I have got such a good feeling about this sim and what can be done in the future. You know, I know that there are some people who still consider it, you know, not going to bother with that, stick with what we've been using before because of the quality of the flight models, and I totally get that, and that's why I run both. I run P3D for the highly detailed, highly realistic flight models and systems, and I run this because it's just so damn beautiful, and also because we're seeing aircraft like this coming into it, which is great fun. And I believe real H145 helicopter pilots have flown it, so I don't think it's unfair to say that this is probably got a pretty good flight model to it. I've got nothing to compare that to though, so what do I know? But I do think it's exciting, and I think as we see, for me, I say it in every video, I know it's going to get boring, but once we see A2A coming on board, which I have every faith they will do, with their warbirds and their GA, it's going to be a marriage made in heaven. This scenery, this world, this lighting, which is incredibly realistic compared to other flight sims, marrying that up with the fidelity and the realism of the A2A warbirds is just going to be absolute heaven. It really is, and that's why I think it's exciting. I know not everyone agrees with that, but very open-minded about it, and as I say, I've only got positive vibes about it. Watch out for the pylon. This helicopter is such fun. It really is. Excuse me. On the road, please. Some Tudor buildings there. Yeah, I would really be interested. If you are watching this and you are a real-world H145 pilot, or you're a helicopter pilot and you've flown this or the Hype Performance H135, I would love to know how realistic this is, because, as I say, I've got nothing to compare it to. I've flown fixed-wing aircraft. I've been very lucky to fly a Spitfire, albeit quite sensibly they didn't let me do the takeoff and landing. So I have hands-on experience of that kind of thing, but helicopters, the last time I was in a helicopter I was 11, and it was a quick flight in a Sea King, and that was a long time ago. So I really don't have anything to compare it to, and I would just love to know how realistic this is. Here's me flying along thinking that, you know, this is realistic, which I have every reason to believe it is, but I would love to know what people think. Now, here we are coming up on Duxford. I love Duxford, I really do. I don't get here as often as I'd like to, but it's a place that means a lot to me. It's got a huge amount of history, World War II history, but it's where I flew the Spitfire from. It's where I've flown in the Wacky Wabbit T6 Harvard from. I was meeting up with some mates here this year just to have a look around the museum, and I've been here for air displays. And I love it to bits, and in P3D it's where I do a lot of my warbird flying from, and I know a lot of other people do as well. And something really exciting is happening, which I'm not going to tell you in this video, but the next video will be from Duxford, and it's going to look different to what it does now. This is the standard Duxford that comes with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I am going to fact check that. Because I've just remembered there was at some point that someone told me about a freeware version that had already been done, and now I'm beginning to wonder if I've got that freeware version in it, because those buildings do look suspiciously better than when I first flew from here. So I will fact check that, and I'll put something up in the video just to say whether I'm flying the freeware version that has been around for a while, or whether this is actually how it appears in Microsoft Flight Simulator from base. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fact check alert. This is indeed the freeware scenery by Gobby. I seem to remember the first time I flew from here I wasn't all that impressed, and there does seem to be some detail in here, but next time you see this it will still look different, and it's very exciting. Anyway, I can't put the moment off any longer. We're going to land this thing and then let you get on your way, and I can then go and have a pint of Guinness and try and forget about the landing that I'm about to do. So where should we put it? Should we put it in front of the tower? Let's put it to the right of the tower, near the crash tenders, because let's face it, we're probably going to need them. So let's bring around and try and take off some speed. This is where it starts to get messy. This is where all the people sitting outside the cafe at Duxford now are saying, what the hell is he doing? This is what's called a non-conventional approach. Oh my lord. Okay. Well, that was pretty damn awful. I think what's really interesting about helicopter flying is that you absolutely have to focus. Because as soon as you take your eye off the ball, right, let me just reset my, there we go. As soon as you take your eye off the ball or you stop concentrating, very quickly it's getting away from you and you're drifting all over the place. Like for example, now I have this weird angle going on, which isn't what I intended, but that's because I've allowed myself to drift. In the tower now they're having a right old laugh. And what's happening is that we've got some torque now, so I'm having to put the left pedal in. Just as, here we go. Here we go. Quick look around. Make sure we're not going to squash anybody. Okay, let's gently, ever so gently, ever so gently. Oh! So there you go. That's how not to shoot an approach in a helicopter. Brought to you on the Dreams of Wings channel at no extra charge. Isn't it beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful helicopter. Great fun to fly. Anyway, thank you very much for your patience and thank you for coming along for the ride. I'll put some information below about Andrewsfield, and I look forward to seeing you again from Duxford very, very soon. Thanks for coming along. See you soon.